Hello everybody, Resonance here, and today I have another expert game for you guys as part of my Break the Meta series for Age of Empires 2. Throughout this series, I'll be showcasing a wide variety of creative and situational strategies while evaluating how they might stack up in the current metagame. We've all seen our fair share of galley rushes and knights, so today it's time for something completely different. It's time for a Scorpion Rush. In this expert match, DauT will be playing against Dai in a 1v1 on the map Arabia. At the bottom right half of the map, we have DauT, aka Slina, playing as the blue Celts. And on the top left side of the map, we have Dai playing as the red Saracens. You did not hear me wrong, I said Scorpion Rush, and you know, when we're talking about units in Age of Empires 2 that are underutilized in general, I think the Scorpion is certainly one of the most underutilized units in the game. Sometimes we do see Scorpions used in Deathmatch. That's where they have the most broad use. We see heavy Scorpions in Deathmatch just kind of like massed up because you have enough resources, you can kind of just spam them, and they're a great way to mow down like huge groups of units. But when it comes to actual Castle Age Scorpion unit, it's not particularly strong. Its stats are certainly leave something to be desired. I think that the Heavy Scorpion is just a substantial upgrade to it in general. And the thing is that Scorpions are usually considered to be a unit that's best massed. And when you're talking about, you know, a game like Arabia, when you're talking about a game on a map like Arabia, you don't generally get a huge enough economy to sort of mass them up, especially when you're going for a Scorpion Rush. That would imply that you get to the Castle Age relatively early, you build an early siege workshop, and you start spamming Scorpions. You're not going to be able to get out a ton of them if it's a rush, right? You're going to try and put some pressure on with a small number of them initially and just sort of build up from there. But we're going to see as the game drags on why Scorpions in this particular case are actually a good idea. And the thing with Age of Empires 2 is that it's actually a remarkably well-balanced game in that while there are plenty of dominant strategies and civilizations in the game, there are generally situations in which almost everything is a good idea. There are very few, I guess, strict rules in Age of Empires 2 where you just never build Scorpions. There's actually a situation in which they can be pretty good, and we're going to see it here today. So if we're talking a little bit about this here civilization matchup, this is actually relatively non-standard, and this is something that I'm already excited to see. We're talking Celts versus Saracens, and the thing here is that the Saracens don't have a very, very strong early game bonus. Eco bonus, unlike something like the Huns, the Aztecs, Mayans, Mongols, some of the more dominant civilizations on a map like Arabia, the Saracens don't usually rank up there because their civilization bonus is that they get like a better market trade rate, which is pretty good. This means you can like sell and buy resources at the market very, very efficiently, and that means that you could go for something like a monk rush and just sell wood and food. That's the strategy that the Saracens are sort of known for. Besides that, though, they don't really have a very, very strong early game. And actually, yeah, the Celts actually have a stronger early game in this case because the Celts do get to chop wood faster. And that wood chopping bonus is actually pretty substantial, and that allows the Goths to get sort of an early game lead here. The Saracens, though, are a relatively flexible civilization in that they have a pretty decent unit pool. So it's not really certain what they'll go for. The Huns are certainly a more predictable civilization than the Saracens. But when it comes to the Celts, they have the Drush. They're going to go for the Militia Rush. This is pretty straightforward. And one of the reasons why this is so good is because their infantry move 15% faster, just like at the start of the game, which is fantastic. This means that your militia get there much sooner than they would on any other civilization, and you can use this to your advantage just by being able to just get around quicker. It's a lot harder for your opponent to stop when they have less time to go deal with that. And if we swap to Dai's perspective here, very, very good scouting on Dai's part. Does see the early barracks, does see the forward lumber camp at the front, saw the flags inside the barracks, which signify that there is a unit inside it. So Dai does know that the Celtic militia are on the way. This wolf is going to weaken one of the militia, which always sucks every time you're trying to drush. There's the conveniently placed wolf that tries to weaken your militia, and then we're going to see here that our good friend DauT is going to go bring his scout forward with the militia to try and apply a lot of early pressure. 3 militia drush is standard because what you do is you just mine 10 gold off the gold mine. We see this one's missing 10 gold. Rather than building a mining camp, because again, we're trying to be conservative and efficient with our resources, you only need 10 gold. You'll have 50 gold left over after you research Loom. You start with 100, you research Loom, you're down to 50, you get 10 gold, you're up to 60. Militia costs 20 gold. 3 militia drush, very, very standard. Bringing it on in here with the scout, trying to force some idle time here from Dai's villagers. Always good to see that. You don't necessarily have to kill any villagers with this drush, but what you want to do is you want to force them to stop gathering resources and just fight you back, and that actually does a lot of damage to someone's economy. Dai actually has a very awkward map in that Look at this wall up. It's actually very, very interesting. Looks like looks like some sort of Picasso painting type thing. I'm not quite sure what this is. Either way, he's gonna have to try and zone away these militia here with this barracks. This wall up is going to be good though. This is one of the best ways to go deal with the Drush is by, making palisade walls, using your own buildings as sort of makeshift wall up, try and restrict their mobility. The Goths are going to start attacking this here palisade wall, but it is going to take some time before it goes down. So, we're talking about a Scorpion Rush here. If you ever want to go for a strategy like this, you should probably open up with the Drush first, which stands for Dark Age Rush. You should probably go for something like a Militia Drush first because you need to create space. You're going to be super vulnerable going for a fast castle age into basically anything. So on Arabia, we generally see players open up with 3 Militia in the Dark Age and then transition into a fast castle age. Because if you don't, then there's this lengthy period up till you get to the castle age where you're so vulnerable, you have nothing to defend yourself. And on a map like Arabia, where there's so much distance between the trees and the forests are so sparse, it's so very difficult to wall up. I mean, look how open DauT's map is, and look how open DauT's map is. This wall up is incredibly awkward. So it favors early aggression. You can't afford to just fast castle age with no walls. Unless you're absolutely crazy, and I did do a Break the Meta episode on that, so I definitely recommend you guys check it out. Episode 7, easily one of my favorite ones. But in this one, yeah, again, Arabia, very, very difficult map to defend here, so you're going to have to go with something like Militia first. And now we're going to see how the situation plays out that starts to favor Scorpions. Scorpions start to become the appropriate answer here. Drush still doing some good damage, as it looks like DauT just went straight for a Archer Rush. DauT went to the Feudal Age and is going to start making archers from, it looks like we're beginning with 1 archery range, and 1 archery range isn't going to be enough to go deal with these militia, but it's a good start. See if DauT can focus down the low HP ones, but that takes so much micro. You have to keep clicking on them to figure out which one has which HP bar. It looks like these militia are indeed going to get zoned out with the scout coming in to go flank this with the extra 2 attack that you get once you reach the Feudal Age on your scout cavalry. And some good archer micro here from DauT is going to try and keep these occupied, but DauT is going to lose his scout, and that is bad. As without this scout, DauT is going to be playing in the dark, blind, and will have no idea what DauT is planning. And what DauT is planning is absolutely insane. We see here that DauT, on the 2nd archer range, this is standard when you're going for a Archer Rush opening. I like this definitely. The double archer range is going to be good. Apply a lot of pressure. But notice how, guys, because DauT went for the Drush, our blue Celts player went for that Drush. Look at it. Look at the clock. He has not been attacked yet, and he will not be attacked until around 14 minutes into the game. He's bought so much time, whereas otherwise, if he didn't go for the Drush, he could have started being attacked so much sooner. None of his buildings have been attacked yet, and he's just buying time, stalling with this 1 militia, because look at the way he set up his economy. Blacksmith and a market down, and he's just going up to the castle age right now. He's starting to advance, and he hasn't been hit yet. This is so critical. You're so very vulnerable until you actually get to the castle age. So he needs to buy as much time, and he's just putting down a quick wall up. And the objective now is to survive. I would love to see a watchtower here from DauT to go protect this this wood line, as these archers, once they get fletching, will be able to just go shoot across this and do so much damage to DauT's lumberjacks and force some idle time here. We do see a forward watchtower here coming out from DauT. I definitely like this one as we look at DauT's map, and DauT definitely sees this. If we look at DauT's map, well, I guess actually, DauT doesn't know that there aren't any other suitable forests there. But either way, this is the one that DauT knows that DauT has a lumber camp there. So by building a watchtower here, assuming the watchtower actually goes up, it's going to force DauT to go transition onto another wood line. That's going to just force so much idle time out from his villagers, and he's going to have to spend 100 wood on another lumber camp. So it's going to be super bad. But DauT recognizes this. Very, very good play on his part. Is going to build his own watchtower and get it up first because he dedicated more villagers to building it, so it built a lot faster there. This watchtower is not going to go up, and that's going to really suck for DauT, as because it's he deletes it, but he's not going to get the full stone refund because it's like half done. So as we can see here, he lost a lot of stone on that for basically nothing, and that's very, very unfortunate. The quick wall up here, though, is going to be really, really effective, as DauT is not able to get in here and do any damage, and DauT has basically closed off that window of vulnerability. He's so close to the castle age, and now he's approaching that time where he's able to retaliate. And he's going to reinforce this wall at the back here, and DauT is not going to be able to get in. DauT does not even have fletching yet, so he's not able to apply as much pressure as he otherwise would and snipe off these villagers. Siege Workshop coming down. Can DauT turn this around, as right now he's quite behind? Now, he might be behind militarily. The thing is, though, is he's in the Castle Age, whereas his opponent is not. If we swap back to DauT's perspective here, DauT is nowhere near the Castle Age. That's not coming for a really, really long time. And does DauT even have a blacksmith yet? Looks like DauT does not have a blacksmith yet. That won't really matter, though, as looks like DauT is going to open up with a siege workshop, but he's going to start with the Mangonel. And this is smart. I think it's very smart. And he's going to start with the Mangonel because, one, it's not going to alarm DauT. Countering this with a siege workshop and a Mangonel generally gets you killed on Arabia, as if this is your first military unit, but it's a great way to go deal with these archers. And we know that DauT is not committing to this like super duper hard. The Mangonel very, very good against the the mass amount of archers here. He's gonna actually get a good shot on the way out. It's kind of like zone DauT out. The thing here, though, is that, DauT still has a lot of military units, and this one Mangonel is just going to be so very easy to micro around. And this is where everything starts to, fall into place. The Celts are one of the better civs to do this, and probably one of the only ones, or one of the few at least, that is quite good with this particular strategy. Why? Because, remember guys, Celt siege weapons have two major bonuses. They fire 20% faster, which makes it a lot harder for your opponent to micro around them. It makes it a lot harder because they're firing more shots. And they create 20% faster, which allows you to mass up scorpions a lot quicker than any other civilization. Also, they chop wood faster as a civilization, so that means that you get more wood, which you're going to need for said scorpions. Why scorpions, though, in this case? And we're gonna see why scorpions are a good thing as this engagement comes into play. Alright, so we see the Mangonel moving up here, and observe as the battle begins. DauT does have fletching now, finally, still making some archers here, and look at this. Oh my goodness, the Mangonel is just not able to hit anything. Assuming that your opponent is microing very, very well, this Mangonel has a lot of weaknesses to it, and look at this. DauT gonna bring in the villagers. He's going to try and get some melee units here to take advantage of the fact that the Mangonel has minimum range. It might deal area of effect damage and have 40 attack, which makes it so good against these flimsy ranged archers. But it has a minimum range. It can't attack units at the base of it. It can only attack them at a distance, and this means that just bringing 2 forward villagers here like DauT did means this Mangonel's dead, and they cost so much. You just lose them almost immediately. But scorpions have a minimum range too, of course. Still, though, you can't just walk up to them. Like, it's a lot harder to, kill them at the base, since not only can you make more of them than you can with a Mangonel, but they also fire like piercing shots. It's a lot harder to go juke them. You can only juke perpendicular to the scorpion shots, whereas with the Mangonel you can run back, you can run forward, left or right, you can go any direction to go dodge the shot. But this thing fires a piercing bolt. That's what the Scorpion's all about, and it's great against these units with low pierce armor and low HP. Just fires a piercing bolt. Just goes right through it, and it's a lot harder to go micro around. You can still do it, but it's certainly a lot more difficult. And the Scorpions here are just better rating units too, because they also just fire faster. He's just gonna go aggressive with these Scorpions, which is ridiculous. It looks like DauT did want to build something forward here with that villager, but that villager's not gonna make it, no way. Yeah, he's just going forward with these Scorpions, and is gonna start picking off DauT's villagers. This is actually ridiculous. DauT's gonna lose all these villagers here. Scorpions might have a minimum range, but again, it's much harder to go answer them. Another thing is that notice how DauT actually has a stable, and scouts are unbelievably good against Mangonels, but they're not nearly as good against something like a Scorpion. Like a scout can just get up to the Mangonel like super duper fast and just kill it. But you can't really do it with the Scorpions. Not only do you have a lot more of them, but they, you can just back them up and just gun down the scout before the scout even gets there. Because again, it's just a lot harder to go micro around than the Scorpions get to apply some serious pressure. But in the meantime, I just think it's so crazy that DauT is going, this aggressively with Scorpions. And he's just letting DauT have his way with his own base. And DauT is just going to send his units aggressively forward here and just try and do as much economy damage to DauT as possible as he's building a second siege workshop. God, I love DauT so much as a player. Watching DauT play is always a treat. He's building a second siege workshop. That's insane. I love it. Please keep doing more of this. He's gonna build a second siege workshop here. Oh my god, yes, good. Look at that piercing bolt value. Oh my god, let me switch to DauT's perspective here. Oh, they're already dead. Either way, god, look at that. The piercing shot just hits all of them at the same time. takes him out as they're in a conga line formation, and look at the zoning. Scorpion's OP. What are you going to do about this? And I do like the stable response here from DauT. He can't make any scouts to go deal with this. One, because he knows he needs to get to the castle edge like ASAP to stop this, but also he wants to make knights, and knights are going to be really, really good against these scorpions. Much better against Mangonels, but they're still pretty good against the scorpions, as the knights do have enough pierce armor that they, you know, avoid these shots. But that's a lot of scorpions. Like, seriously, like, DauT has a shitload of scorpions. He has 14 scorpions. Or, no, he doesn't have 14 scorpions on the DauT's perspective. My bad. He has 17 scorpions. It's even worse. So he has 17 scorpions right now, and he's able to go deal with this quite nicely. The knights are going to come out here. I don't know, actually, if DauT has the level 1 defense upgrade, but he might need that to go deal with all these mass ranged units. I mean, DauT had these 4 villagers anyway, because he's trying to build up watchtowers, so I guess he decided to build a 4 blacksmith and mining camp, but that's just not going to happen. These units over here, he needs to go do something with them right now, as he's just not really able to apply any pressure, as there's scorpions on the defense, scorpions on the offense. What you gonna do? Mangonels are also a really, really good answer to this as well, and we do see a Mangonel coming out here from DauT, so DauT is absolutely responding to this appropriately. Knights coming out. Mangonel here, I think he's going to leave the Mangonel in defense and try and pressure aggressively with the Knights, and I think that's the wise decision here, is the Mangonel is just going to take forever to get across the map. It's a much better defense unit than an offensive one, but apparently Scorpions are a good offensive one. Look at those poor villagers. It's getting absolutely decimated by those Scorpions, and the Knights might be able to pick off a couple straggler Scorpions here. He does have bloodlines, actually, but no defense upgrade, and we can see right now that, yeah, just the fact that the Celts get to fire faster makes these Scorpions just so good, and they just mass up so quick. He's on 3 siege workshops! Oh man, Knights! Not a very good counter in this situation either. He's just gonna need Mangonels or something, and one of the main reasons why this strategy is working is if your opponent fast castles too and goes, if your opponent like Drushes and fast castles into Knights, you're screwed. Like, this strategy is not gonna work. Because your opponent can also just make Mangonels and just deal with this so very easily. We can see Mangonels here, the ultimate counter. Mangonels do resist the shots from the Scorpions quite nicely, and you can just take them out in droves. DauT's losing so many Scorpions for free here. He's losing 3 for the price of none, as this Saracen's Mangonel is just going to survive here. Crossman going to try and apply more pressure here, but we see that the Scorpions, look at this, just tearing through this army of crossbowmen, just cutting through it like a knife through butter. These crossmen completely useless, can't deal with the Scorpions. They're too tanky and they do too much damage. But these Scorpions over here are going to get clobbered by this Mangonel. Really smart decision on DauT's part as well to go repair this. But yeah, repairing that allows him to keep his Mangonel alive long enough to go trade with that entire army. When your opponent like fast castles into Knights or something like that, they'll be in the castle age, so they'll have access to, you know, not only will they have access to Knights much sooner, but they'll also have access to Mangonels, which are the go-to answer to a strategy like so. And Mangonels are just definitely the best way to deal with this. This only worked because DauT, you know, scouting his opponent, he knows exactly that his opponent was going for archers. That's why the Drush here is also great. You get so much information about what your opponent's up to. He knew his opponent was going for archers, and that allowed him to go for something ridiculous like this. But look at this. This one Mangonel, I think, has like 15 confirmed kills. That's pretty ridiculous, man. Well, DauT breaking the meta, 1 siege workshop at a time, or in this case, 3. He has 3 siege workshops and so many Scorpions. Good lord. 25 Scorpions, even after he lost like 12 there. Second town center here coming out from DauT. He recognizes now that the Knights aren't going to do diddly squat, which is hilarious, actually. For once, Knights suck, and Mangonels are the one true answer here. God, this is so cool to watch in action here. But this Mangonel, gonna be quite devastating, but without anything repairing it, DauT is gonna have to send a villager to go repair it. The Scorpions will be able to gun it down. Both players here in a Mexican standoff. No one wants to fire right now, as they're just backing off. This Mangonel is going to get repaired here, and the Scorpions maneuvering around. One thing that sucks about Scorpions, though, is they're really slow. They are really slow, and it gives your opponent plenty of time to go maneuver around. Although Mangonels are really, really slow, too, so... it's gonna be a while before he gets there, guys. Soon, TM. Here they come. All right, there we go. Here comes the eco damage, as DauT's going to lose a bunch of villagers here to these Scorpions. It is absolutely amazing how effective this is. I mean, look how many Scorpions he has. He has 33. And this isn't deathmatch. And DauT is just struggling to deal with this. Absolutely struggling. He has 4 military units. He's behind by like 30 military units at this point. It's absolutely ridiculous. These villagers, 2 down in the same volley. Oh, you better run. The Scorpions are coming. And 1 Mangonel is just frankly not enough. Alright, so you trade one Mangonel and a Villager for a Scorpion. Not good enough, as the Scorpions here are actually cheaper than said Mangonel as well. Just look how many Scorpions he has. It's gonna be so hard for DauT to go deal with unless he, like, makes a ton of Mangonels. He needs to get, like, more than one out at this point, and his economy is just in shambles as DauT's just creaming him with Scorpions. He hasn't made anything but Scorpions. He made, like, one Mangonel and, like, 3 Militia at the start, and that's just it. His economy, though, is... I mean, this is... all in Scorpions. I never thought I would say that phrase in Age of Empires history. After all these years, I never thought I'd say the words all in Scorpions, but that's exactly what DauT's doing. He's all in Scorpions. He is one town center. 32 minutes in, DauT is on one town center, and he has 34 Scorpions. This is one of the weirdest matches of AoE I've ever seen. But it's working, it is, because in this specific situation, when your opponent goes for an Archer Rush, and you Drush them, and your Celts, is fantastic. His opponent went for an Archer Rush, so it's like, it's gonna be a while before he gets the Castle Age, so you have like this huge, this window where you can just go for Scorpions, and your opponent is just not gonna get to the Castle Age in time to go deal with this. I mean, look at how strong the Mangonel is versus these Scorpions. Just by repairing it in mass like that, you can just kind of clear out an entire army. So DauT is definitely responding to this well, trying to adapt the situation as best he can. But I like how the villagers still die anyway due to the piercing bolts, like shooting through the Mangonel and killing the repairers at the back. That's actually hilarious. Another wave of Scorpions coming out, as this is sort of turning into like a weird tower defense game. Does DauT plan on actually building anything else this game? That is the real question. I don't think he necessarily has to, as he's doing so much damage here. Like, the score lead's only pulling ahead. I mean, we're at 95 to 33 population. As DauT just falling apart. He's gonna die. To all of these Scorpions, as he's just not able to get enough Mangonels in time. We're up to 2 Mangonels now, which is just not enough. It's not enough, as DauT has split into 2 different blobs of death. And he's gonna try and take out this Mangonels. This Mangonel's gonna get a sick shot here. These villagers are gonna try and repair this Mangonel, but they all just get gunned down by the Scorpions. They're all just dying in droves. You can't repair that. The bolts pierce. They pierce the heavens. They pierce your Mangonel. They pierce through your villagers. And they're gonna seal the deal here. As I think that's actually it for DauT. I think he's done. He's in the middle of second Siege Workshop right now, but good lord is he weak. Scorpions have just done so much economic damage, and I don't even want to know where all these villagers are going. Actually, I kind of do want to know where these villagers are going. Where are you sending them, DauT? Bring me on your magical journey, sir. What is this, man? He's just gonna come in here, and yeah, he's just gonna kind of tank the town center because he doesn't care. Is he just gonna start shooting at it? That's pretty ballsy. Now, I think, though, that DauT's kind of, like, clinched this game out at a point. But, like, I think that if DauT wasn't winning this definitively, he would most certainly have thrown in a battering ram at this point so you can actually, like, blow up these buildings and close the game. I think DauT's just having fun. For the last, like, 30 minutes or so, he was actually, you know, making legit use of Scorpions. But now I think he's just having fun. Generally speaking, you want to throw in a battering ram so you can blow up this town center, but DauT's just, because he can, because no one's ever done that in the history of AoE. He's using mass Scorpions in the Castle Age to just blow up a town center. He's just gonna kill it with Scorpions. You don't need other units when you have Scorpions, and DauT here is trying to be cool too. He's trying to be cool too. With a 22 population, made his own Scorpion just for kicks to go try and deal with that, and it just turns out that 1 Scorpion versus like 40 it just doesn't quite cut it. Looks like it's over for DauT here, as he just lost a town center to nothing but Scorpions, which is pretty radical if I do say so myself. Again, we can see here that the Mangonel is just the go-to answer to this, but when your opponent goes for like some heavy Feudal Age aggression like we saw here, the keyword is heavy Feudal Age aggression, none of that like wussy, like you make 4 scouts and you just go up to the Castle Age, or you make like 5 archers. Like, DauT really committed to this because he knew that DauT was going to be, like, really vulnerable here. Like, DauT's map is very open. DauT going for a Drush, which means he wants a fast Castle Age. Like, you have to kind of try and punish him in that window. What he didn't see coming, though, is that this fast Castle Age was not into something like Knights. Something, or like, yeah, I guess Knights. It was actually Scorpions. Oh my god. Marky here coming out from DauT as he's just, he's gonna try and fight until the last second here and let DauT just bask in the glory that is mass Scorpions. This Mangonel on the hill here is gonna get out a bunch of those Scorpions. Trade extremely favorably here. I mean, look at the value that you get there. That's like 6 Scorpions for 1 Mangonel. That's a sick trade. But it looks like DauT wants to, for the novelty of it, to just try and close the game with nothing but Scorpions. And it looks like he will actually be able to go do so here, as this, not even this market is going up at this point. This works extremely well when your opponent goes for like heavy feudal age aggression because they don't get to the castle age in time, and the best way to deal with this is with Mangonels. And if you know your opponent isn't going to get Mangonels in time, then you win. Then you win the video game, guys. You become the champion of the Age of Empires 2 universe. And you just clinch this out. He's losing an awful lot of scorpions for free here, but it's okay, man. He's earned this. He's allowed to be a little inefficient. Oh my god. DauT is just losing so many scorpions here to that Mangonel. We can see again. Mangonel's the go-to answer here. Knights don't really cut it unless you get it a lot of them early enough. I'm not exactly sure what this market's for, but you know, we're just gonna roll with it. Let the replay roll on out as DauT's just going for a forward lumber camp. I like that. That's a saturated gold mine if I've ever seen one. And this town center is down. Die refusing to die as he's gonna take advantage of the Scorpion's ridiculously slow movement speed. Just try and run away. Run as far as you can. Run for the hills. Run, die, run, and don't look back. Don't look back. As he's gonna get flanked by Scorpions. Caught on a hill. None of these villagers are gonna get away, and it looks like it is GG. So this is certainly, I mean, DauT does not disappoint. This is certainly one of the funniest games I think I've ever seen in Aoe2 history. I have seen, you know, players like the Viper go for some sort of early Scorpion aggression. However, I don't think I've ever seen this many Scorpions in a single game. I don't think I've ever seen that. Normally you throw in like a battering ram or something like that. It just goes to show that in the right situation, almost anything is possible. I like this little bit of out-of-the-box thinking. I think this was way more effective than if, you know, DauT just went for like a Night Rush or something like that. I think this is just way better than a Night Rush in this specific case, and it looks like... Alright, he's finally gonna call it game, guys, as he's probably at like, what, the whopping like 5 pop at this point. We're gonna find out in the post-game screen. Either way, GG, well played. We've discovered the new metagame on Arabia, guys, and it involves mass scorpions. It definitely involves mass scorpions. If we check out his base, looks like he's still on 3 siege workshops. He has a university out there, presumably for ballistics or something like that. Still on 1 TC, his DauT just does not care. And yeah, without further ado, guys, let's check out the achievements. Oh, here's the Scorpion victory theme. Wow. I think it really speaks volume. I've said this before, but I'll say it one more time. It really speaks volume of how strong of a counter Mangonels are to Scorpions. When we look at the units killed to units lost, it was almost completely even, despite the fact that Dai was basically dead for most of the game. He had the early game in the bag for sure. I would say that he had the first about 20 minutes in which he was just strongly favored, but after that it was just a slow, steady decline. And yet somehow, the units killed to units lost ratio, I mean, this game looks a lot closer than it was, even though it was probably over at about 30 minutes. There were like 13, 14 minutes at the end there where, you know, DauT just decided he was going to win the game with nothing but Scorpions. But before that, it was like super close, super serious. You would think the units killed to units lost would be a lot closer, and it really just goes to show that the Mangonels can just kill so many Scorpions with just like one Mangonel. You can trade so efficiently with your units there. Largest army of 43 to 18, yet the units killed to units lost is almost identical. It's nuts. Look at that economy. Ooh, getting a lot of wood and gold for this. And yep, look at that castle age. This is why this strategy works here. 24-minute castle age kind of happens when you go for like a really heavy feudal age rush. You know, you can probably be a little bit quicker to the castle age, but still, it gives you this big window where the Scorpions are just super OP, and there's not too much you can do about that. The Archer Rush there could have been pretty potent, but DauT was just absolutely prepared for this. Like, he did everything he needed to do to set himself up for a situation in which a Scorpion Rush was good to go. The Drush on his part managed to keep Dai contained in his own base, so the archers were just not able to apply any pressure until around the time when DauT was in the castle age. That forward tower was a great decision on Dai's part, but DauT was once again ready, countered it with his own defensive tower, as this is what you should always do. Wall up to go restrict your opponent's villagers' mobility so that they can't, you know, just build, you know, towers around your entire base. Try and limit the places that they can go build, so you use, you know, palisade walls, your own buildings for that. Build your own defensive towers, but commit more villagers to them so it comes up first. That's always a great way to go deal with that. And yeah, Dai never got that tower up. If he did, this game might have been completely different. And we see the villager discrepancy here. I think that that's even more substantial here, considering that DauT was only on 1 town center, and yet he still had a substantial 35 villager lead. Compared to Dai, who was on 2 town centers, he was just losing so many villagers nonstop. We can see the game here, you know, like, it's looking really good. Like, it's looking really, really bad for DauT by the time he hits the castle age, but it could have looked so much worse if he didn't stop that tower from going up, go for the Drush, and just keep DauT distracted. This looks so very bad here. Like, you would think that this is absolutely GG and suicide, but, you know, once the Scorpions come out, look, the military population starts to drop, but this is still a really, really close game by the time DauT gets to the castle age. And then all of his guys die to a bunch of Scorpions, and we can see here that the game just slowly and steadily crumbles until DauT has approximately, I'm assuming, like 5 population left at the end. What a great game to watch. GG, well played, DauT and DauT. What an absolute pleasure to watch. This is what I love about Age of Empires 2. After all these years, and after watching countless thousands of replays, I can still see something like this, which puts a smile on my face. Something interesting. Like with, you know, most of the strategies they showcase and break the meta, something I really am considering and I would like to do is to revisit a strategy like, you know, Scorpion Rush and just revisit things that I've already done before, but in a different context, in a different situation, so we can see, you know, in radically different situations where the same strategy can really, really work out. It shouldn't feel repetitive. It should still, it'll be a completely different, you know, video and, you know, context. So hopefully you guys don't mind, as it's something I'd really, really like to do. It also allows me to get out more break the meta games as possible, you know, as many break the meta games as possible. I can do it more often because I don't have to worry about, I already did this strategy at one point. As long as I, you know, keep it fresh and show different maps, civ matchups, and opponents' reactions. Because your opponent will not always react the same way. Like, for example, I think it'd be pretty cool if I could showcase, you know, that Huskarl Rush thing that I covered in the previous episode, where your opponent does not fast castle into cavalry archers. Maybe they're not even the Huns at all. Maybe they go for, like, a feudal war. How does the Huskarl Rush differ in that situation? How if your opponent goes for fast castle age 2, how do you react if you're going for a Scorpion Rush? Do you go for a Scorpion Rush at all? These are all questions I like to explore and break the meta. And this is one of my favorite matches so far. Man, oh, this is so good. This and like episode 7. Although really, I've been a huge fan of all the ones that I've done so far, and I hope that you guys have been enjoying it too. If you have, feel free to leave me a comment below, as you know, I do read them all, even if I don't get a chance to respond to each of them individually. I'm just really looking forward to bringing you guys more of this stuff. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please do leave me a like rating, as it does help me out so very much. It helps with the exposure. Also, I do have you know, links to playlists in the video description. You can go watch more Break the Meta episodes if you enjoyed this. You can also watch tons of other, you know, first-person commentaries in Age of Empires 2 on my YouTube channel, as well as just commentaries of tournaments and other expert games if you just want to see more gameplay analyzed. I always try to focus on the analysis side of things. I also do live stream regularly on Twitch TV, and I'd love to have you. It's a great way to play with or against me and just interact and hang out with the great community at large, as we do have a very, very friendly, awesome community here. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions there at the live stream and just have some fun games with you. I do stream Age of Empires 2 weekly there. If you want to get in on the live stream, what I recommend you do is you either just, you know, use the link on the screen or in the video description, head on over to my Twitch page. You scroll underneath the video player to find my schedule. That way you never miss a stream. Also, if you follow me on Twitch, it'll send you a little email notification thing too, which is pretty cool. As always, guys, I look forward to bringing you more awesome Age of Empires 2 content. Thank you so much for the continued support. It means a lot to me, as, yeah, this is just so very fun for me. I hope it's fun for you too. And I will see you all next time. GG, well played.